I wanted to use the opportunity to remind those of us here who are looking to build a business that it is a fallacy to say money is the problem. I think if we reflect carefully, a lot of businesses with money have failed and a lot of businesses with money have succeeded. So what differentiated between those businesses is not money. But more importantly, as somebody who works in the bank, I spend my entire day thinking of where to put money. The fact that I'm not able to put money successfully as I would like would suggest that it is not a lack of money that is the problem. So if you are here as a founder, I want you to get rid of the idea that it is in fact money that is the problem. There are a lot of people looking to put money in businesses like yours. What is missing is your ability, first and foremost, to create a business that is viable and can be tested. But secondly, it is your ability to communicate very clearly to the people who have the money that you have actually achieved this.
90 million Nigerians in over 20 million homes do not have access to electricity. Having been active players in the sector for the past over 3 years, we have faced the challenge, but most importantly, we have come up with a solution, the inverterless solar. Our inverterless solar is a DC-based energy efficiency solution. Very simply put, it takes the energy of the sun right from the sun and delivers it to your socket without the need of expensive inverters, making energy more efficient and solar energy much more cheaper and affordable to adopt.
What exactly are you selling? Are you selling a technology that you have developed, or what exactly is you bringing to the market?
Okay, thank you. What we are bringing to the market is an end-to-end energy efficiency solution. So, apart from the model that we are using to install energy, we developed a DC wall socket, which actually takes the role of the inverter. And that is all we are bringing to the market.
During my last clinical stint, I worked at one of the top hospitals in Lagos, where the largest number of kidney transplant surgeries have been done, 169. That got me thinking, why then do we still spend over $1 million every year on medical treatments abroad? So my team and I came up with a solution that aggregates the spare capacity of existing centers that are good enough for these doctors to work in and allows patients to book foreign and local-based doctors and see them locally.
How do you certify the quality of the facilities here?
Great. So there are a lot of ways we do that. We have an internal quality assurance team that handles that. Secondly, most of the work I do as a management consultant is an optimization of facilities, right? And lastly, there's a lot of work being done by SafeCare and SQHN to certify facilities and kind of grade them based on quality standards internationally.
Since most of the food waste problem in Africa comes from post-harvest loss, providing farmers with improved access to market and more efficient logistics will go a long way to solve this problem. Our solution enables the farmer in Zamfara to be able to upload pictures and prices of his farm produce on our web application at agripo.com and be able to get a buyer directly from Lagos without even having to leave his farm.
How do you guarantee that the images that is uploaded and the commodities that I think I'm buying is actually what I receive?
Once an order comes in, the logistics companies collect the stuff, check for the quantity and the quality, and then ships. If the buyer receives the goods as indicated on the web application, we now remit money to the farmer. So there is almost no chance of the farmer sending the wrong order and receiving money for the wrong order.
GatePass is a tenant experience platform that improves communication and management in multi-tenant communities. You receive a lot of requests from residents through emails, through phones, and what happens is you're unable to keep track of these requests and you have cracks that slip through. And at the end of the day, you have unhappy residents. GatePass seeks to solve this through a utility for property managers and a virtual amenity for residents, where they're able to go on the platform, keep up with announcements about their community, settle their service charge and other bills, and also let their visitors in without playing hokey-pokey.
Okay, I take it that you have had some successes selling this to communities. and you've also had some setbacks. Would you mind sharing with us what has been the setbacks and the reasons why we don't have more communities on it?
One of the major challenges that we faced is network connectivity. You can't really work your way around the internet and internet strength in different areas. Another thing we faced is adoption, really, because the sales cycle can be a bit slow. You have to negotiate with estate associations who meet only once a month. What we've done and how we've tried to circumvent this issue is introducing a freemium model where people are able to onboard themselves, we provide support, and then as we scale across, we then charge on certain premium features like staff registration and notifications, so you know when your domestic staffs are coming in or connecting you to other services.
If you're under the sound of my voice in this room, chances are that you have felt the impact of chronic diseases, such as diabetes, asthma, cancer, or even mental diseases like depression. And then the bane of this problem is they require constant contact with their healthcare provider. And this is a challenge. We are trying to solve the problem of continuity of care to patients living with chronic diseases across the country. BlueSecure is an intelligent care management platform for patients who have this condition. So how does it work? Patients are enrolled at their hospitals. The application comes with inbuilt instructions to forecast potential risk. The application contacts these patients using offline technology. It doesn't matter whether you have an iPhone or a Nokia Touch. The application collates the information gathered from this contacting and displays it in a format that is insightful to the doctor.
Okay, so in terms of traction, how many transactions, for example, have you processed on your platform?
We have been able to pilot the solution at the tertiary healthcare facility, like diabetes clinic, and they've been able to onboard about 300 patients. We also have contacts from the University College Hospital Ibadan to be able to use the solution there, also the University Teaching Hospital Abuja. And then we are currently planning a planned pilot for the asthma clinic at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital and also the oncology center at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital.
It is common knowledge that small businesses are critical to the nation's economy. But what we have also realized is that this class of business owners face a myriad of problems. We've traced some of these challenges to how difficult it is for them to accurately keep track of their financial records, be capital efficient by retaining their customers and accessing funds to grow their business. Take, for example, Mrs. Okewale. She's a fashion designer based in Lagos. She's got 2 outlets, one on the mainland and on the island. Before using Loyster, it was super difficult for her to keep track of sales across these 2 outlets. She had cases of theft and not knowing what the inventory levels were. But now using Loyster, I can tell you she's been able to manage over 2,000 items she sells in store and online. We've identified a growing opportunity in the retail space. So last year, 2018, the retail sector was the largest contributor to POS payments in Nigeria. And we've also seen that in the last 3 years, this sector has been growing consistently.
Can you walk us through how you onboard a merchant and how long does integration typically take?
Okay, onboarding is pretty much very fast. You sign up, the first thing you're doing on the platform is creating a loyalty program. Every transaction on Loyster is sort of tied to a loyalty in the sense that you can decide to reward your customers for every naira they spend with you. So merchants can set a spending target and say, any customers that spends up to 20,000 gets this reward. So they can do that within 30 seconds. The next thing they're doing is adding their product with photos of it. The photos are good for those who engage in delivery business. So they can actually pass that invoice with the photos of the goods to their dispatch rider and fulfill the transaction.
We know lack of sustainable electricity supply is one of the major constraints of establishing business in Nigeria. According to International Monetary Funds, over $29 billion has been lost annually in business due to this issue of power problems. And also in Nigeria, we don't have a clear vision on how we will cope in the next few days to come or next few years to come on how we will be generating energy from a sustainable supply of renewable energy. That is why Pahim Nigeria Limited, we came up with a solution. We designed a plate we call Pahim Plate. And this Pahim Plate, we designed it purposely for it to solve the problem of power instability in Nigeria. Our plates act by converting your footsteps into electrical energy. Our plate is a clean source of energy, eco-friendly and sustainable. By a 60 kilogram match, we'll be able to generate 20 amperes 12 volts. This light or this power generated from one step, we can use it to power 24 incandescent bulbs or 72 compact fluorescent bulbs or 140 LED bulbs. Our market cut across places that generate public traffic. This includes shopping malls, places of worship, schools, and market hubs.
Excuse me, can you step on it so we see how it works? If this is going to be placed on public walkways, it needs to be durable.
Yes. We need 60 kilogram match that will depress these springs downward so that it will produce the required amount of electricity. Yes. So if I step on this, if I'm not up to 60 kilogram weight, the amount of electricity required may not be up to the one that will light this bulb.
What's your strategy to be able to overcome that challenge, particularly in terms of collaborating with organizations perhaps that could standardize those prototypes for you?
So far, what we are looking forward is to create a means whereby the business organization will first of all accept socially, like to feel it that socially they need our plate. So we are trying now to ensure that the consistency in terms of power that we are generating is consistent, and we also try to see in terms of our price that the price that we are selling the energy to them is much lower than the price that they are getting from the national grid.
I was still basking in euphoria of having my first son when I noticed his eyes were yellow. And I took him to the hospital and he was diagnosed with severe neonatal jaundice. The doctor said Tombra would need phototherapy treatment and he needs to start now. But there was no phototherapy unit for us to use because the only few that were there were occupied. Eventually, we found one to use, but there was no light to power it. And then, eventually, the light came. But you know what? The adverse effect of the phototherapy treatment caused skin burn, fever, and dehydration. We stayed in the hospital for about 8 days. What triggered me to invent this crib-aglow phototherapy unit is my story. Now, Tiny Heart produces this device to treat jaundice in newborn babies. One, it's solar-powered, and it rules out all the side effects of treating neonatal jaundice, like dehydration, skin burn, and fever, because it comes with LEDs that work highly effectively to break down the substance that causes the jaundice in the newborn baby.
I want to get a better understanding of your marketing strategy, especially in hard-to-reach areas like the Northeast. Do you have some kind of marketing strategy in penetrating and getting your business in that area?
Okay, so Tiny Hearts has a project called the Yellow Alert Project. This project helps us to get into the interiors, to sensitize the women in the rural areas on jaundice, the symptoms of jaundice, the signs and the treatment of jaundice. We are able to collaborate with community health centers, community health workers, traditional birth attendants, and even other medical personnel. So when we collaborate with them to carry out this Yellow Alert project, we are indirectly marketing the product to them, so it drives the market.
Waste is a global problem, as we all know. But in Nigeria, the problem is a lot worse. It is quite unfortunate that this waste end up on our street. They have filled our drainages, causing flooding. And a large chunk of this waste are being taken down to unstructured landfills where these waste are causing environmental pollution. Green Axis solves this problem by leveraging technology to provide on-demand waste collection services for households and businesses in the southeastern part of Nigeria. And we recover and process these recyclables into virgin raw materials for our manufacturing industries. Our unique selling proposition is that we deliver timely, on-demand waste collection services, and we also ensure that we process these materials specifically to suit the demand of these manufacturing industries.
Increasingly, waste management is subject to a lot of regulation. And to that extent, your business can be impacted by decisions that are not within your control. Do you have any relationship with the government, or are you operating completely independent of the government?
Well, presently we're operating independently, but we've been trying to meet up with the state management authorities, because basically right now in our states where we operate, they just give such listening ears to the PSPs, those that they contract to excavate this waste to the landfills. But on the other hand, we're also in the Recyclers Association of Nigeria as a body, and they have more access to the association at the national level.
Vaccines have been termed a miracle of this century. No wonder everyone in this room has been a beneficiary of one. But vaccines have to be maintained at a particular temperature, usually between 2 to 8 degrees. And this is why millions of people across the globe do not have access to vaccines. According to the World Health Organization, about 19.4 infants across the globe do not have access to vaccines, and about 2 million deaths occur every year, which could have been prevented if the vaccines got to these people at the right time and at the right temperature. Our solution is an autonomous, smart, IoT-enabled cooling device that gives users the ability to enter preset temperatures. So if you're storing vaccines between 2 to 8 degrees, this box you can enter 4 degrees as the temperature. And even if you're in the US, you can monitor the location and the storage conditions of your vaccines in real time. At the moment, the Greek fridge is the only solution in the market that goes for as low as $550, but offers portability, real-time visibility, and also active cooling, while the competition typically is passive cooling. We believe that access to immunization should be a fundamental human right. But without the critical infrastructure, this is impossible. And this is why we've embarked on this journey.
How long does it stay cold, the vaccines, with your own box, compared to the regular one?
Okay. So our boxes maintain vaccines if you're doing about 4 degrees for about 24 hours. But we're also trying to optimize the technology by introducing interchangeable batteries. That is, while it's maintaining it, you can take out the current battery and put in a different one so that you could continue the cycle. And it also works with solar panels. It's a 40 watts per hour consumption rate. So with simple 40 watt small panels, you're able to run this continuously.
In no particular order, the last 3 finalists of the 2019 Nigerian Economic Summit Startup Pitching event. Doctoral E-Health, Loystar, Tiny Hearts.